Hi, Kevin Henry. I'm the Group Editorial Director for Dental Products Report and Advanstar Dental Media, and I'm on a Google Hangout today with Dr. Marc Cooper, who's one of the principals of the Mastery Company. And Dr. Cooper, I was just wondering if you can kind of give our viewers a little bit of a background about you and an overview of the Mastery Company.
The company has been in existence since 1984. Previous to that, I was in private practice dentistry as a periodontist, academician, researcher. The company's expanded itself beyond the dental industry. We have worked in hospital systems, Fortune 100 and 500 companies, biotechnical companies. So we have a vast experience beyond just dentistry. And that gives us a purview of the dental industry that many do not have, since it's part of a larger entity. And we have worked with 2,000 dentists in small groups and large groups and partnerships, and so we're pretty experienced in this game of dentistry as well. I think that handles it, right, Kevin?
Absolutely. And you know, one of the reasons that we're on this hangout today is we're going to talk about the upcoming summit that you have in May. And I just wanted you to kind of give a little bit of an overview on what's going to be happening at this summit and kind of who it's targeted toward.
Well, one of the things I noticed about 2 years ago, was that the tipping point had been reached in the dental industry for managed group practices, which are entities that have management associated with them either externally or internally. MSOs, DSOs, Heartland, Pacific, American Dental Partners are the large ones, but there are ones all in between. And most of the dentists didn't have an understanding of what was going on. And so I thought it would be appropriate to develop a program, a conference, where dentists could come and understand and learn about these things. So our Summit 1, Summit 2 were really about what is a managed group practice and how they work. This one is going to be more, I think, extremely interesting, because we're going to look at what works and what doesn't work, why they succeed and why they fail, so dentists can begin to understand from their particular viewpoint, if they have to make a choice about going into group, what groups should they choose and how should they choose them. So this summit is about success and failure of managed group practices.
And since you did that very first summit, how have you seen group practices kind of change, or the perception toward them change?
Well, that's a great question. When the future's coming at you point blank and you have a history of 100 years of solo practice, there's a certain reaction, usually shock and anger, to this oncoming onslaught of change. But right now I think we're at the level of acceptance. I think dentists out there are beginning to see that because of the economics, because of the pressure, because of the government, because of the influence of third parties in the PPO structures, that group practice is the solution. And then now they're looking at, how do I engage in this particular domain so that my assets and my values are acceptable or working for me inside of this new environment. Did that answer your question?
Oh, absolutely. And okay. You know, one of the things that I've always been impressed with seeing your lineup of things that are coming at the summit is you always pull together a great, broad range of KOLs and thought leaders to kind of talk about this. Just kind of walk us through. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'd like to address about my team. So the team that we put together is probably the best of the best in terms of their expertise in the industry. So we have people such as Marie Malone, who's extraordinary in terms of acquisition and appraisals. She's been doing it for 10 years. She understands the game and really is clear about it. We have Gary Wademan, who's, we all have stories about attorneys, but he is premier in terms of he has integrity. He gets back with the client on time. He does the work, the operating agreements. He's really tremendous. We have Andrew Mata, who's developed what I feel is the best DSO around in terms of their participation of dentists in their committees. We have Vinny Cardella, who has been there and done that with 3 of these companies, so he knows the infrastructure, he knows how the operations work. So we put together this incredible team to speak to dentists directly. In this particular summit, we're going to have breakout groups so that if you're a beginning dentist, you can go to one breakout room that is about what group should I join or how do they work. Or if you're already in an existing group, you can go to another breakout room and work with Gary or work with Maria. So this thing is going to be, I think this is going to be phenomenal, by the way. I'm really enthusiastic about it.
Well, and that actually answered the next question I was going to ask you, because one of the things I wanted to see was, if I was a dentist coming to the summit, what should I expect, and what should I bring to the summit as far as the mindset or any materials?
It depends on where you are in your developmental process. If you're a solo dentist, your question's got to be, what do I do with the rest of my career? What do I do with my practice? If it's, most practices, as you know, are pretty flat or even declining in revenues. And then, you know, where do I go? What do I do? So that's one arena. Some of them have small groups or partner practices. What do I do to grow this thing to make it so it's substantial and has a greater capacity? And then there's people that are in larger ones, and like they're running into the issues that larger ones run into in terms of personnel, executive management, being a CEO, all of that conversation. So we're viewing it as a spectrum, and having dentists come in wherever they are inside of that spectrum to get what they need.
It sounds fascinating. I mean, it really does. And where could people go to get more information about the summit?
They can go to the Mastery website and get it directly. They can go to info@mastery.com and connect with the individual who's accountable for the registration in that area. They can get our newsletters. You know, it's interesting. I just want to get back to one point. There was no one else in the industry delivering this kind of information to dentists. And so we have taken this on. The group really has a commitment. Each of us have a commitment to educate the providers and their associated stakeholders in the entity in what managed group practice is all about. So that's our mission.
And final question, Claire. I just kind of like to ask for your opinion. You know, if a dentist is watching this and he or she maybe isn't that familiar with managed group practice, where it is, where it's going, what would you say to them?
I'd say go to my website. We have a multimedia section, and in that there are interviews with industry experts on MSOs, DSOs, group practices, how they work, how they succeed, what are the areas that they look at. There are interviews with dentists who have made that leap to managed group practice and what their experience is. And there's a number of articles. In fact, there's a lot of articles there that would help them understand this game much more effectively, much more brilliantly, actually.
Sounds great. Dr. Cooper, I really appreciate your time, and look forward to, I think it'll be fun, and I look forward to seeing you there.
I look forward to seeing you in person.
All right. Thanks for your time.
You take care. Thank you.